YouTube, people of the Champ Geo vlog, we are finally back. I know it's been a while. We took some time off, had to get some things together. As you can see, we made a little bit of an upgrade to the studio to represent my man, Grand Champion BSK Sincere. Some of our favorite ribbons, we have a bunch, but these are some of our favorite ribbons that, that really means the most to us. Some of his best in shows, some of his best of winners, best XLs, best overalls, things like that. So this was just really cool to add, the nice ambiance to the whole studio. I mean, you are at the Champ Geo YouTube site, so it's only right that we honor the guy. So now that we're back, I wanted to come back with something a little different. I got a question from my man Oliver over at Pure Stone Kennels. I appreciate the question. I always say, if you want to know anything, if you want me to cover anything, put it in the comments or shoot me a DM on Instagram at sincere.geo. And he did just that. He asked me to make a video covering the topic of transferring your bully from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully with UKC, which is the United Kennel Club. So before we get into it, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you turn on post notifications. We're really trying to take this YouTube thing to the next level, and all of that will really help us. Leave some positive vibes for my man Champ Geo in the comments. We really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first things first, let's talk about the American Bully breed with the UKC. The American Bully breed wasn't always recognized by the UKC. It is not until July of 2013 that the breed got officially recognized by the UKC. So that's why a lot of American Bullies still have APBT, or American Pit Bull Terrier, on their paperwork, is because the breed was not recognized by the UKC prior to 2013, and we know the Bully got started way before that. And a lot of the stock foundation of the American Bully is the American Pit Bull Terrier. So they use a lot of American Pit Bull Terriers to create the American Bully breed. And because of that, a lot of the bullies are still registered as American Pit Bull Terriers. And it's a way that American Bully breeders were registering their dogs, and they had no way to register them as American Bullies with the UKC. So they were stuck having to register their dogs as American Pit Bull Terriers, even though they were American Bullies. But after July 2013, if you have an American Bully that still has American Pit Bull Terrier registration on its papers, you are now free to transfer that dog to its proper breed of American Bully. So we're going to get into that and show you how to do it now. So as you can see, I have the UKC breed transfer application for the American Bully pulled up on the screen. I will place the link in the description to get you to this application. So we'll just go over it really quick. It's super simple to fill out, super easy. So you just have to print this out and fill out the proper information and send it in. So we'll go over the forms now. So as you can see in the top right corner, they're asking for the UKC registration number. What they want is your dog's current American Pit Bull Terrier registration number from the 4 or 3 generation pedigree you have. So you put the current American Pit Bull Terrier registration number on that line. And then moving on to dog's registered name, you'll put the dog's registered name from the pedigree on that line. So if your dog's name is, like for instance, Sincere's name, people just call him Sincere. We just call him Sincere. But his registered name is BSK Sincere, so you have to put the full registered name on that line. So for Sincere's case, I had to put BSK Sincere. For the sex, male or female, you check what it is. For the color, you put the color of your dog that's on the registration papers, Sincere. That would be blue and white. If you have a lilac tri, you put that. If you have a chocolate and white, if you have black and white, if you have fawn, whatever color your dog is, you put that there on that line. So the next question is, has this dog earned any qualifying scores in a UKC licensed performance event? So if you've had your dog perform in any event with the UKC where they've earned points towards some sort of title, like for instance weight pull, you would click yes. That way you're letting them know, hey, we've competed in events with this registration number under this breed, so they can transfer over. Then the next line is sole signature / first registrant / owner, meaning that sometimes a dog will have more than one owner, meaning it will have a co-owner or 2 co-owners on the pedigree papers. So whoever is the primary owner, that's who puts the name on this paper. So if you have a primary owner and a co-owner, the primary owner would put their name on that line. Then obviously the next line is address, city, state, postal code, country, phone, and email. It's pretty self-explanatory. You fill out all your information there. So now the second line after that is second registrant, owner, or co-registrant, or co-owner. So after the primary owner, like we just talked about, you'll have a co-owner or a second co-owner. You print their name on that line. So after that, the primary owner will sign where it says first registrant and owner. And if there's a co-owner, they'll sign their name after that. So after that, when you come down to the next section, you see there is the breed transfer fee of $30. So it costs $30 no matter what to transfer your dog from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully. So you'll check that box. Then if you want something besides just regular basic standard shipping, they have options for next day air, expedited service, and rush service. You see all those different payment options right there. If that's something you want, maybe you want to compete in a show that's in a week or two, so you need this transfer to take place fast. You might want to do next day air service, or you might want to do a weight pull event and something like that, and you need the papers in a timely fashion. This is where these options come in handy. So you can pay for all this stuff with your credit card in this right hand box right here. I personally did a check. So what you do is you put the grand total. So $30 minimum. I didn't do any of the rush services or expedited services, so my grand total was just $30. You don't put anything in that gray shaded box because that's for the UKC office use only. So as you see right here, they give you all the information. So I made my check out to the United Kennel Club. So after that, printed out this paper, put the paper in the envelope along with my check. And it's very important that you know you need to send the original pedigree papers in along with this form. So the 3 or 4 generation pedigree that you have for your bully right now that says American Pit Bull Terrier, you need to ship that back to them. They need that original paperwork in order to issue you a new American Bully 3 or 4 generation pedigree. So what you do is you'll send the check, breed transfer form, and your original pedigree papers all together in an envelope to the UKC. So that is how you fill out the American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully breed transfer form. So now that you know how to transfer your American Bully from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully, you might be thinking, well, why should I do this? I've been getting along just fine up until this point. I've had no issues. No one's ever said anything. So why do I need to give the UKC $30 to transfer my dog that, who cares, everybody knows it's American Bully. I know it's American Bully. My customers know it's American Bully. So why do I need to transfer? Well, that answer for me personally, I can only speak from my point of view, is when you transfer these dogs on paper from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully, it really helps push the American Bully breed forward. These dogs are no longer American Pit Bull Terriers. Yes, American Pit Bull Terriers in the foundation, but it's a totally separate breed now. And you as a bully breeder, or you as someone that breeds and registers dogs, you know that too. You understand that American Bullies are not American Pit Bull Terriers. In my mind, it'd be like registering a Doberman as a Rottweiler. It just wouldn't make sense at all. It's just, a Doberman is a Doberman, a Rottweiler is a Rottweiler. So American Bully is American Bully, American Pit Bull Terrier is American Pit Bull Terrier. And as an American Bully owner, one of the number one things we get frustrated at, or as a pet peeve, is when people confuse our dogs as American Pit Bull Terriers because they're not. So if you don't want somebody calling your dog an American Pit Bull Terrier, you don't want them getting confused as American Pit Bull Terrier, do the right thing, transfer them as an American Bully, get that on its paperwork, and it'll just help push the breed forward, and it will go a long way to helping people differentiate between the American Pit Bull Terrier and the American Bully. You do a lot of work as a breeder to get the look into your bully and into your program. Do the right thing, have people respect that, and respect you as an American Bully breeder. So I think it's very important that you transfer these dogs and have the right breed on the paperwork. So another reason why you might want to transfer your dog from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully is when you do the breedings, you can give your customers and you can have a lineage on your puppies that says American Bully. That'd be like you going to the store and you go to get some Jordans, you know, the exclusive Jordan lease, and you see the Jordan on the wall. Instead of saying like, you know, Jordan Retro 11, what it is, whatever colorway it is, underneath it says Adidas Ultra Boost. You'd be like, it's a Jordan 11. Why does it say Adidas Ultra Boost? And then when you go, you say, all right, well, I can see it's a Jordan 11. Let me get that. You go check out at the register. They give you the receipt, and it says Adidas Ultra Boost. Everyone knows it's a Jordan 11. Everybody knows it's a retro. Everybody knows it's an exclusive release, but your receipt says Adidas Ultra Boost. So if you ever go to resell that, if you ever go to, you know, cash in on your collection, and they say, let me see that original receipt for this Jordan Retro 11 that you have, and you produce the receipt and it says Adidas Ultra Boost, it's not really going to add up. So for me, you know, I've bred Sincere. He's had some litters. All the breeders that I've worked with have transferred their dogs over to UKC American Bully, and we've been able to give customers the proper pedigree and registration papers, and all their paperwork says American Bully, ABKC, and UKC. It's just a nice touch to have. It's a nice thing to do. Again, call the breed what it is. Another benefit that you can gain from transferring your dog from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully is housing restrictions. And if you live in an apartment or a community that has breed restrictions, a lot of the times the breed restrictions will be, you guessed it, Pit Bull Terrier. So if you want this dog and you want it to live with you, and you know you can provide it a good loving home, but you just have a few couple breed restrictions, if you can produce official papers, and on those official papers it says American Bullies, not all the time, but sometimes you can bypass those housing and living restrictions. Sometimes housing and living restrictions have all bull breeds or bulldog breeds or bully breeds. In that case, this is not really going to help you out. But if you have something that just says American Pit Bull Terriers and it's only directed toward American Pit Bull Terriers, well, you can produce this paper that says, I don't have a Pit Bull Terrier, which you don't. And most people that do that sort of housing restrictions, or the board or person that's in charge of that, they don't know the difference between American Pit Bull Terrier and American Bully. But you have this paperwork, official documentation that says, I don't have an American Pit Bull Terrier. I have an American Bully, which has a completely different look and temperament most of the times from the American Pit Bull Terrier. You can bypass that. So that's just a little tip. And one of the last benefits that I really enjoyed about transferring my dog from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully is being able to compete in the UKC conformation shows. So this just goes back to pushing the American Bully breed forward. So now that I have my paperwork as American Bully, I'm able to enter the UKC conformation shows with Sincere under his correct breed, which he is a grand champion in the UKC, which I'm very proud of, and he's won multiple best in shows against other different breeds. But what it does is, when I bring him into the show, a lot of people that's showing their dogs, they're very friendly, they're very interested in them. Some of them are a little timid to begin with, you know, he has that look, but he's super friendly with people. So when he comes in and he's well balanced, well behaved, got a great temperament, he interacts with humans well, he's not dog reactive, you know, with all the noise and commotion going on, they see like, wow. So not only is this not an American Pit Bull Terrier, this is American Bully. Look at this great example of the breed. He's well behaved, he's loving, he's balanced, he's calm, and not only that, he's doing great in the show. The American Bully breed, I didn't know anything about, but now that I'm seeing Sincere and seeing him perform, this is a great breed. This is a breed that should be celebrated, held in high regard, and really belongs, you know, in the show ring in the UKC with us. So it's just nice to perform in those UKC shows and have that experience and get him out there and let people see what the American Bully can do. And it's also great to have him out there competing against all those other breeds. And that's something that's in a whole nother different type of bond building aspect in itself, and it's just great. And the fact that he's done so well and won best in shows, multiple, and it's just something that's great, and it's something that pushes the American Bully breed forward. You know, when you have the judges recognizing this is what the American Bully is, this is how it can perform, and let me reward it for that, let me give it best in show. You know, that goes a long way. People talk and people will remember that. It just doesn't have to be conformation shows. You can go out there and do any other type of UKC sanctioned event, whether it be weight pull, whatever the case may be, and you can represent the American Bully breed with your dog properly and have the American Bully breed get credited with the event wins and the placements like it should be. So the whole world and the other dog breeders and just the registry in general can see how great this breed is. We all love this breed. I love this breed. I want everybody to know, I would scream from the mountaintops how great the American Bully is. It's just my favorite breed in the world, you know? So transferring from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully just shines light on the breed and just shines light on that greatness and all the great things that we love about the American Bully. So the next thing I want to talk about is debunking some myths, or just giving you the facts of a breed transfer, because I hear a lot of things that people talk about when it comes to breed transfers, and it's either just far-fetched or just not accurate at all. So the first thing I want to get into is PR status. This is the number one thing I hear when it comes to American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully breed transfers. PR status, PR status, PR status. Will your dog lose its PR status? If your dog is a PR American Pit Bull Terrier and you transfer it to an American Bully, the answer is yes. Your dog will lose the PR status with the UKC. Now let's talk about PR status for a second. What does that mean? PR in the UKC stands for purple ribbon. What does purple ribbon mean with the UKC? When your dog is PR or purple ribbon, it means all 14 ancestors within a dog's 3-generation pedigree, meaning parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, are each registered with the United Kennel Club and are of the same breed. That's where the disclaimer comes in right there. They have to be of the same breed. So, will your dog lose that PR status? The answer is yes. But to me, it's worth it. So PR is not some special designation or some special award or something that your dog earned or something that a breeder earned by doing this or that. All it simply means is that all 14 dogs in the dog's pedigree have been registered with the UKC. That's all it means. Nothing special. Doesn't mean a dog is better than another dog. Doesn't mean this dog has did something special to deserve that accolade or award. All it just means is that all 14 dogs are registered. So because registered of the same breed. So now because you're switching your dog from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully, your dog is going to be the first American Bully in its pedigree. It loses that PR because the dogs before it are American Pit Bull Terrier. Now he's an American Bully. So he's no longer the same breed technically as the other bullies that are still registered as American Pit Bull Terrier in his pedigree. So he loses that PR status. So getting back to an example I made earlier, right? If you have a Rottweiler, but the paperwork says PR Doberman, you don't have a Doberman. You have a Rottweiler. So if you have a chance to get the dog's pedigree papers upgraded to say Rottweiler, which it really is, and you still see all the lineage and all the parents and grandparents on the paperwork, it just doesn't say PR anymore, but it correctly says Rottweiler. What's more important to you? Keeping that PR status and it says Doberman when you really have a Rottweiler, or getting your dog registered as the proper, correct breed? For me, that would be a no-brainer. So that is a big point of contention, and I just wanted to get it out in the open. If you have an American Bully, but it's registered as a PR American Pit Bull Terrier, when you switch it over to American Bully, again, you will lose that PR on the pedigree papers. So that's just a fact of the American Bully breed transfer. But if you're a breeder, not all hope is lost. Like I just said, PR is not something that, you know, you have to earn or apply for or do something special for. You just have to do your due diligence as a breeder and make sure you properly register your dogs and litters. So if you have your dogs and you have your males and females and you switch everybody over and you do your in-house breedings or work with other breeders that have UKC American Bully dogs, you eventually will get the PR status back. It's not like it's lost forever. So after you do your due diligence and you build your lineage of American Bullies and you properly register, after you have that 3-generation pedigree where all 14 American Bullies are registered in that litter's lineage, that litter will get the PR status back. So you can get your own status as a PR American Bully. It's not the end of the world, and I think it would be really awesome to have PR American Bullies. So that's that on the PR status. So the next thing I want to talk about when you transfer your dog over from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully is the ancestors and what you'll see on the new updated UKC American Bully pedigree papers. So let's say your dog has grand champions or weight pull champions in his pedigree that are still registered as American Pit Bull Terriers, and you switch your dog over to American Bully. When you get your new American Bully pedigree papers, the champions and grand champions that are in your dog's pedigree, that will still be listed on the ancestor's name. So for instance, let's say, and he's not, but I'm just giving you an example. Let's just say Sincere was still registered as American Pit Bull Terrier, and he's a grand champion. He has an offspring. That offspring is registered as American Pit Bull Terrier. They go and transfer his offspring to American Bully. When they send him his pedigree papers, on his pedigree papers, his sire or dad will still be listed as Grand Champion BSK Sincere. So the ancestors don't lose any title documentation on the pedigree papers when you switch them over to American Bully. But what they do lose on the pedigree papers is the registration numbers. So when you get your American Bully registration papers, the ancestors no longer have their UKC American Pit Bull Terrier numbers listed on them anymore. They just have their name and titles on them. So let's say, going back to that same example, with Sincere's offspring, if Sincere was still registered as American Pit Bull Terrier, let's say his offspring were registered as American Pit Bull Terrier. Before they switch him over to American Bully, when they open up the paperwork, they'll see Grand Champion BSK Sincere, and they'll see his registration number as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, once you transfer over as American Bully, because his offspring now is considered the first American Bully in that pedigree, meaning he's the first one in his line that's recognized as American Bully and everybody else is American Pit Bull Terrier, those American Pit Bull Terrier numbers on his registration papers drop off. So when you look at his father, it would just say Grand Champion BSK Sincere, and that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is no longer there. So you don't see the old UKC American Pit Bull registration numbers for the ancestors. I personally, and my years of working with Sincere and doing the breedings and litters, I have personally never have had a need for any of his ancestors' American Pit Bull Terrier UKC numbers. Now, before I send it in, like I just suggested, I took a picture, scanned it just so I have it for reference, but I've never needed it. You can do the same thing, but just know when you get the updated UKC American Bully paperwork, the ancestors will have all the titles that they've earned listed. They just will no longer have their UKC American Pit Bull Terrier registration numbers listed on the paperwork. Another thing that somebody might have a question about when it comes to transferring from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully is if you used his UKC American Pit Bull Terrier paperwork to then go ahead and register the dog with the ABKC, BBCR, BRC, or any other bully registry, will that affect that other registry's paperwork for the dog? And the answer is absolutely not. So if you get if you have an American Bully and you registered your American Bully with the ABKC using the UKC's American Pit Bull Terrier paperwork, when you get your updated American Bully papers from the UKC, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to tell the ABKC anything like that. Doesn't affect it. Doesn't change your ABKC or any other registry's number for your American Bully. So you're good there. You don't have to worry about if the transfer affects any other registry, because it doesn't. The answer is no. It's totally separate. Once they got the initial documentation on your dog, you're set. So one of the last and other major topics I wanted to cover when it came to switching your dog from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully is breedings and limiting stud options and limiting breedings and things of that nature. Here's another major thing that I hear people get into all the time, and that is, let's say you have two American Bullies that you know for a fact are American Bullies. One of them is registered as an American Pit Bull Terrier with the UKC. The other one is registered as an American Bully with the UKC. If I put them together, can I register that litter? The answer is you cannot register it in the traditional way, because that is now considered a mixed breed. So it would be an American Pit Bull Terrier going to American Bully, two separate breeds. Just like, if you bred, I keep going back to this example, a Doberman and a Rottweiler, would you be able to register that litter? The answer is no. Two separate breeds, two separate breeds of dogs. So you wouldn't be able to register that litter in the traditional sense because it would be considered a mixed breed. Now you're saying to yourself, well, this is American Bully. They're both American Bullies. Yes, well, that's why it's important to get American Bully on all American Bullies paperwork so we don't run into this problem. But if you have this issue, what you can do is you can single register the litter. So it's not like all hope is lost. You can't ever register the dog with the UKC. So if you have a breeding between the UKC American Bully and the UKC American Pit Bull Terrier, those puppies can be later on single registered with the UKC as American Bullies. If you do a breeding like that, UKC American Pit Bull Terrier, UKC American Bully, what you can do is when you can register the dogs through the ABKC, so all the puppies will get the registration paperwork through the ABKC, and they can use that to single register the dogs with the UKC. So it doesn't limit stud options in the sense of there's still a way to get the pups registered. You know, you can definitely register that litter traditionally through the ABKC and then use that paperwork to register it with the UKC single registration. So does it limit my stud options and limit my breeding possibilities? The answer is yes and no, honestly. So yes, in the sense that you cannot traditionally register your American Bully litter with the UKC because it's a mixed breed if you try to do American Bully and American Pit Bull Terrier. But no, in the sense of that it's not like you can't breed to the dog because, you know, its paperwork still says American Pit Bull Terrier. There's still other avenues and routes that you can go using the ABKC and UKC. Single registration is not the end of the world. Only having ABKC litters is not the end of the world. I've been fortunate where all the people that want to use Sincere and the breedings have switched over to UKC American Bully, so we have not had this problem. But all Sincere's litters are dual registered UKC and ABKC. If somebody came to me and said, hey, I want to use Sincere, the dog was beautiful, it met the criteria, the female got approved, but says, I really don't want to switch to American Pit Bull Terrier, let's just run the litter through the ABKC. I'd be fine with that as long as we give the customers the ABKC paperwork, so if they choose to single register with the UKC, they have that ability. So does it limit you? The answer for me is no, because I don't have a problem going the different avenues I just explained, but for some people that may be a problem. But again, I just want you to be aware of all the possibilities and all the things or roadblocks that you might face when you make this decision for your bully. And the very last point I'll make about transferring your dog over from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully is once you make that breed transfer, there's no going back. It's final, it's permanent. You can't pay to switch them back from American Bully to American Pit Bull Terrier. Once you make the switch, it's over, it's done, it's permanent. So, you know, you say, oh, I have a UKC American Pit Bull Terrier that wants to breed to my boy who's registered as American Bully, but that breeder says they'll only do it if they can do it to another PR American Pit Bull Terrier. Well, you're out of luck, because once you go to American Bully, there's no going back. Once you make that switch, there's nothing you can do, no ifs, ands, or buts. Your dog is now properly registered as American Bully, and it's got to stay that way. So that's just something else I wanted you to be aware of. So guys, that's today's video. I hope you found it informative and helpful. I hope you know all the ins and outs of transferring your bully from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully. Hope I debunked some of the myths and some of the misinformation you might have heard. But I really hope I highlighted all the benefits and the good points of doing this breed transfer, which I have done, which I love, which I think everybody with an American Bully still registered as an American Pit Bull Terrier should do. I see way more upside than downside. I honestly don't see any downside, but you know, some of those things I talked about in the video could be considered a downside for some, but there's way more upside to this in my opinion. So I want to give a shout out again to Oliver at Pure Stone Kennels for this question and for asking me to do this video. Again, if you guys have any questions or want me to cover anything, make sure you comment it below. I will get to it. Or if you have any other questions about transferring your dog from American Pit Bull Terrier to American Bully that I may not have covered or I didn't think of, and you want to ask it to me, make sure you head over to Instagram at sincere.geo, send me a DM. I love answering questions. I love helping people out with this whole American Bully breed. So if you have any other questions or want further clarification or more fine detail on something, shoot me a message. I'll definitely get back to you. So, again, Thank you so much for watching. We will be back more consistent. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. People of the Champ Geo Vlog. We'll see you next time.